Welcome to that American football show powered by EP Sports. EP Sports is the top supplier in the UK for all your American football needs, helping players and coaches reach their potential since 2007. Check them out today at epsports.co.uk. Today, Tim, Joe, Craig, and I welcome Tyrese Johnson Fisher to the show as part of our Elf Baller series. Tyrese has one of the more interesting routes to the ELF. Starting as a rugby and track phenomenon from a young age, making the switch to American football after playing in the 2017 All-American game for high school prospects. He redshirted with the Coastal Carolina college team, came back to England to play for Rugby Bristol Bears, and now Tyrese is the newly signed running back for the Istanbul Rams. And we're thrilled to have you on, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time. How you been?
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I've just been good. It's being back in the UK is always fun. I'm always away. If it's in America, not if it's in America, when it's in America. So just for me, being back is so fun. Seeing my family, like even last year, I had a really nice time being back for like a bit longer than I was meant to be. I was here for about a month and a half. And that was the first time I'd seen my mum in like a year and a half. And if you know me, I'm a mama's boy. My mum moved to the Cayman Islands. COVID stopped her from coming over. So yeah, just being back in the family, it's just, for me, it's been amazing.
I bet you're not missing the weather though.
You know what? It's kind of a weird one because when I was in Mississippi, it was about 20 degrees every single day. And then I went to New York for a week and it was cold in the UK. I saw the first snowfall in the US. So it's kind of a weird one. I was lucky I got a bit acclimatized, but then as soon as I came back to England, I got a cold within a week. So I think I'm kind of built up the immune system now.
So you've bounced between track and rugby and American football a little bit. Have you always been a multi-sport athlete? And would you be able to tell us a little bit about your journey and just how you've gotten to where you are today with the Istanbul Rams?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I started off as a football player, so as a soccer player. I was playing down in London and I was rubbish. I'm gonna tell you that right now, I was so bad. And then I kind of got to the point where I said to myself, I don't want to suck no more. I want to be, it kind of felt cool to be good at sport when you were young. And so I used to live in the States. So just some of us would just come down, kick some ball from literally the morning time as soon as the sun rose to the mum getting us in for dinner. And it was just, it literally changed my life. We moved to Dubai in 2010. And just before I went to Dubai, the same coach who would bring me to games to let me play for like 2 minutes at the end of the game was basically asking me to start every single game and didn't want me to leave. So I moved to Dubai, ended up picking up rugby because they saw that I was really, really fast in football. And they said, you know, you could actually be quite decent at this. So I thought, you know what, let me try it out. Tried it out in my first game, got like 4 tries, didn't know what the hell rugby was, didn't even know what a try was. All I knew was catch the ball, run, put it on the ground, didn't get tackled the whole game. So it's been a crazy one. Then if we're kind of gonna fast forward a little bit, also in Dubai, I was playing for an academy. Basically, same as England, like how they have professional football and you kind of work down in the academy. I was playing for a team called Al Wasl, and funny enough, Maradona was the head coach. So we got to meet Maradona. I got a signed shirt that I'm gonna frame very, very soon.
That's cool.
And it was so cool. Like you got this guy who just does or did whatever the hell he wanted. He had paparazzi within now imagine a head coach going to their training facility, and even in the training facility, they got like paparazzi all day, every single day, and even a funny little story. So, you know, there's a lot of guys that come over from all different countries across the world to kind of play for these academies in the UAE, and there are a lot of guys from Africa, and you know, some of them didn't necessarily have passports. If they did have passports, they weren't necessarily the right age. So when you sign up for teams, they have to test, you know, how old, they have to kind of get a gauge for how old you really are. So they would basically get a piece of paper with guys is, you know, down their sides from literally the smallest all the way up to the biggest. And they made us literally have to point, like, which one's yours? And then that would kind of give them a gauge for, you know, how old you are. So then basically went from there. Then we kind of got to the point where I was like, Mum and I were like, not rugby, Dubai can only take us so far in regards to sport. So let's move to the UK or move to South Africa, move to Australia, move to New Zealand. Offers from all over the world. But then I was lucky enough to get a really good boarding school called Oakham School, who offered me a full scholarship. And that was just amazing for me and my family because, like, growing up, that's just not even something on the table, on the cards. So, had the opportunity. They had football because Leicester City's right there. They had rugby because Leicester Tigers was right there, and they had a really good athletics club, Saffron Lane. So then I literally went in with the intention of playing all. Had the opportunity to play for Crystal Palace Academy, then Leicester Tigers Academy, and then I came to England being absolutely dreadful. Not dreadful. I was told before I came to England I would be like top 10 in the country for 100 meters, and I was injured the whole season. And I was running injured. I had a guy who just kept beating me. I said, I'm not going to do this anymore, man. Trust me. Next season, I'm gonna be good. Next season was undefeated, won national championship, and at the time I was the second fastest 14-year-old of all time from the UK for 100 meters. So then basically went from there, got to 15, was still playing a bit of rugby, and then I went viral in a video that many people have seen, and that just changed my life. That's another story for another time. And yeah, just kept going back and forth between rugby and American football. Not rugby and American football, rugby and track. Opportunities to play American football because basically from that video, let me even touch on that briefly. I had an opportunity to go to IMG. Even Michigan reached out to me. They offered me to kind of, to come down when I was 15 to obviously when I'm older and to obviously make the transition to American football. And I'm not sure if you guys have watched Colin and Black and White, but it kind of felt like I was in that same situation where Colin had, what's it going to be? Baseball or American football? I was the same thing for me. Rugby or track. And even one season, I literally said no rugby, straight track. And I actually ended up being so close to qualifying for GB Youths to basically represent the team in, I don't know what country it was, but that was annoying because I ran a qualifying time. They didn't select anyone for 100 meters. That still hurts to this day, but we moved. And then I was just kind of like, you know what? Let me get back into rugby. Got back into rugby, and again, I was just like, man, I'm not enjoying this. I'm a sort of player who I play off emotions. I've always done that with every sport that I've played, and I kind of felt like I was not playing rugby and enjoying it. I'm not going to play something for the rest of my life if I'm not enjoying it. So American football opportunities came up, the Under Armour All America game came up, and I was like, hell yeah. Why wouldn't I take this offer? Because it was the top 100 players in the whole of the US. Again, that's another story that we can touch upon a little bit later. And then boom, went to Coastal, head coach left, my position coach changed, and just didn't really feel comfortable. Boom, moved, and was literally in the transfer portal, was gonna go to an FCS school up in Illinois. And actually no, yeah, I was gonna either go there or there's another school in New York where I was gonna go to. Got really unlucky because it was just a really, really weird time and opportunities and other sports came up. So my mind was all over the place. Had international opportunities to play rugby, professional rugby came up, and I was just like, what? I'm 19. I've got the opportunity to play professional rugby. I'd be a bit silly to say no because it's always been a dream of mine to kind of play the sport at a professional level. And then obviously I went, to Bristol. Bristol was a great opportunity for me. I'm learning more at this age how much it's helped me in regards to just being in a professional environment, because people talk about going into professional environments, but they go in when they're like, most people go into professional environments when they're about in the NFL, let's talk 24 plus, sorry, line 22 plus. I had the experience at 19. So what it's taught me and then bringing that into JUCO was absolutely insane, because even a little backtrack in 2020, in 2020, I was actually meant to go to an FCS school. Literally, it was the craziest thing. I left rugby, said to myself, I've got this expensive rent that I've got to pay for. How am I going to do this? I'm not just going to work in Tesco because I'm not going to be able to afford it. So then I managed to get opportunities straight off the back of me being a professional rugby player. Was working as a full-time recruitment consultant and training in the evenings. Like I was literally, when you start a job, like you're kind of working in an office, you want to be the first one there, last one to leave. Doesn't matter how long I'm going to be there. I need to prove myself. So, I was leaving home 7 something, getting to the office 8 something, leaving the office at about 8 something, finishing training about 11, get home about 11:30, and the cycle continues. And it was a great cycle, great fun. And then I managed to, even within that time frame, it was good because I got home at 11:30, but that was the perfect time to kind of reach out to these American schools because it's 5 hours behind. So I was reaching out, sending God knows how many emails a day, managed to get a couple of replies, positives, negatives, had a official visit booked for me to fly to New York to basically, I was offered a scholarship at a New York school. 2 days later, Boris Johnson talks about lockdown. Boom. Now we're backtracking. Now it's crazy because then it's like, damn, what am I gonna do? 2020 was absolutely insane because all the top D1 schools were basically saying we ain't taking internationals because we don't know if you guys are going to be able to come in for the next 5 years. So we're not going to take the risk. So then I said, okay, if that's the case, I'm going to have to go to JUCO. I'm not going back to rugby. I made the decision to stay in the sport, so I'm going to stay in the sport. So then looking around junior colleges, and even this is great. I'm telling you, this whole story is insane. But even going to JUCO, got an opportunity to go. No, let me even backtrack. I had nothing for months. I had absolutely nothing. Sending countless emails, nothing. One scout gave me an opportunity, posted my highlights, posted my story on his Twitter. Within 10 minutes of him posting that story, a good JUCO offered me. Within the next couple of days, I had about 10 JUCO offers, top JUCO offers. So I went absolutely full circle. And then I made the decision to go to Garden City. And that was crazy for me because I remember I was literally watching Tyreek Hill's highlights in the afternoon. A couple of hours later, the head coach for Garden City, obviously Tyreek Hill went to Garden City. So the head coach calls me and offers me a full scholarship. And so that was insane. I'll tell you that right now. That was absolutely insane. And then, boom, I committed to Garden City. I meant to fly out in July. Head coach calls me. Season's been moved because of COVID. Cool, whatever. Fast forward to December. I'm literally 2 weeks from flying. I'm asking, what's the situation? Can I book my flight? Didn't hear anything. Oh no, I heard something, but it kind of wasn't really definite. He didn't know himself. Can't blame him. A week later, I meant to fly out the next week. Tyrese, because of our situation, we've lost a lot of funding, so we can't afford to bring in internationals over. So then I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? I got no school. Everybody's got schools. Everybody's got all these roster spots filled up. But I was so lucky. I put a post out on Twitter, basically explaining my story, explaining the situation I was in. I was so blessed because I had quite a lot of schools hit me up after that. Boom. That's what ended me at Copiah Lincoln Community College in Mississippi. Absolutely insane. Felt like a town full of, I'm gonna say, 2,000 people. I remember my first week, I was walking to the shops by myself. There was literally 2 main shops. Like, imagine us having like a really, really small Tesco Express and a little Sainsbury, what do they call it? Like Sainsbury Extra, whatever, Sainsbury's Express, whatever. 2 of those little small things, a liquor store, a really small bank, and a hardware store. That's what made up our town. Even that first time me walking a week in, I was walking to the thing, took like 20 minutes. That's how like spread out this thing was, even though it was so small, it was so spread out. 20 minutes just to walk. Imagine, I'm looking to my right. Why am I seeing houses full of Confederate flags? Why am I seeing houses full of make America great again? I'm telling you, I told my family, one was like, Tyrese, you're coming back. you're not staying out there. So then it was insane. And then season went on. I was training with Ryan Clark to prepare for my season. And in the off season, taught me so much. Boston Scott from the Eagles, training with him, taught me so much. And then now we're at the Rams. It's been insane. That's all I can say. It's been absolutely insane.
I've got to ask you, because that video obviously is the rugby videos been watched like 3 million times, I think it is.
30.
On the third try, is that boy still sitting on the ground? The guy you ran over?
You know what? Funny story. So it was A-level summer 2018. And obviously for the first week and a half, 2 weeks, everybody just parties. It's, you know, you've worked so hard for all these years, no more school. I was in a little place in Fulham, and I was just literally standing outside, and the guy came up to me, and he was like, "Hey man, do you remember me? You boshed me." I was like, "What the hell do I say to that?" Like, what the hell do I say to that? And I heard like, apparently in school he was just in like the laughing stock, and I thought I'm laughing now, but I feel so bad because I saw red in the moment, and I said, you know what, you're stopping me from the try, and I'm gonna kill you. So it was a funny little story. Really, really nice guy he was.
No, that's good, man. And you mentioned there you've had so many opportunities, like all the different sports you've done, all the different teams you played for, and all the different countries that you've lived in.
Yeah.
What would you say has been like your best moment, number one? And number two, what would you say sort of on the other end has sort of been the biggest lesson learned from all of these different things you've got up to?
Great question. I'd say my best moment was winning nationals for 100 meters, because I remember coming to the UK with not an ego, but more of a, I've been told how good I am, so I want to prove it. I came to the UK expecting to run fast. My body just wouldn't let me. I was playing rugby. I was playing rugby for a team on a. So let me even explain this. So when I was in Dubai, I was playing rugby, pardon me, basketball, rounders, funny enough, football, and I was playing another sport. So I was pretty much training and playing sport 6 times a week. And I was playing for the professional football team. My mum's a teacher, so she had to drive me like 50 minutes, and in Dubai 50 minutes is a long time because it's so small. After work at 7:30 p.m. to training. And then I was also playing for an X-Back team. I was also playing for the rugby team, and then obviously all of those sports teams at school. So my body was finished, like absolutely finished for a 13-year-old. And so coming to the UK and not running as fast as I wanted to, getting beaten by a guy who I knew I could beat was painful. And so I just knew that, I remember, was it 2013 going into 2014, I just worked so hard. Like, I was playing rugby, but I kind of said to myself, I need to make a comeback. I need to fight. First race of the season, I ran 11:3, and that was decent at that age because it ended up putting me as first in the country. And then finishing the season with a 10:9 at 14 was insane, but annoying, because like, when I mean all I do is sport, this is like, when we had the lockdown, that was the first summer I've ever had, like ever, because I'd always be rugby into track season.
Yeah.
And so the track season, I'm training 5 times a week. I got no, and racing and all of those days, so I got no time. So, going into that, literally finished nationals. 2 weeks later, I flew to South Africa with my school rugby team to play for like a month and a half. So I could have ran a 10:7 at 14, and if I did, I probably even be playing American football right now, because I know for a fact I would have definitely have gone pro for athletics. So that was my high, like just finishing that line. My lowest, I'd probably say last season, because I'd spent, not to say that other people haven't as well, but I'd spent a whole year of uncertainty. And then, you heard a bit about, I had the high or Garden City, then not having it, and then finding something else. You made all these sacrifices in lockdown. Nobody can do anything to me now. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I was training at the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I was even driving all the way up to Watford from Croydon. That's 2 hours drive. I was doing that in lockdown. I was training 5, 6 times a week throughout the whole of that. And to have made financial sacrifices, all of these sacrifices. And then even when I was in America, at junior college, you don't get a stipend, so you don't get monthly money. I don't get a student loan from the UK. I don't get an American loan from America. So I was getting no money in. And so any little bit of money I found, for example, I got some tax rebate. Boom, that tax rebate went straight into training. Training with Ryan Clark, who's the NFL coach, that's like 300, 400 quid a week. So slap that straight onto there. And, that's all I've been doing. So then to go into the season and to not necessarily feel as if, for the season not to go how I wanted it to go, and the opportunities not being there as much as I want them to, that hurt. So me being with the Rams right now, it feels amazing, because yeah, the sacrifices I made at the time didn't pay off, but I feel like I'm starting to see them paying off right now as they're creeping in.
And to kind of touch on the junior college side in Mississippi there, that I don't think you could emulate anything like that in Britain. Like not only sport-wise, culture-wise, but also environment-wise. What was it like spending time over there and working your game over there?
It was crazy. It's humbling because I guess for me, you know, I'm 22 right now, and that's young compared to maybe some of you guys. But like when I was in college, I was the second oldest at the time, going and then the third oldest in the team. Everyone, you know, one of the guys turned 18 in like September. So I was literally with not kids, but young guys. And so there's just a massive difference in understanding, especially as I've traveled. A lot of guys hadn't have traveled. So not a knock on them, but the sort of experiences that we both had, or some of us had, just wasn't the same. So being able to relate was quite difficult. And so I really had to kind of learn a bit about the culture in order to fit in. And I feel like I did a pretty good job at it. And that was what made it a little bit much smoother, is getting on with the guys. Like the guys were cool, but just coming from different places, I had to kind of learn how to operate within the environment. Being in a small town, I'm from London. I lived in Dubai. You know, I've lived in cities. So going into a small town where literally, like I said, 2,000 people, everybody leaves college, you know, for the weekend. And in the spring, that was tough because there was probably a couple of international students and a couple of people who stayed over the weekend. And there's probably about 40 of us at college on the weekend, and maybe even less. And that was insane. So that was crazy. Like we'd have college from Monday to Thursday, and then Thursday evening, Saturday, Sunday was literally ghost town. I'd stay in my room the whole day. That's why me doing YouTube, was actually really fun for me, because it just kind of gave me a bit of time to pass time. And also I was very good at my academics. I got a 4.0, which in American standards is like a first. So I basically got perfect grades. So I basically just spent so much time studying YouTube. So I guess on that front, it kind of gave me that opportunity to just focus. But just being in a ghost town for me was like, wow. Like, you know, I want to say, for example, I want to get a takeaway. I got to drive 20 minutes. If I order in, delivery is like $8. So you spend $8 before you've even bought the food. So like all of that stuff, you know, the training schedule was weird. Just being a college student in general, you can't compare it to the UK, because in the UK, sports taken seriously at university, nothing like America. Like the whole day would consist of studying, training, film every single day. I'd have my first class at 8 o'clock in the morning. I finished my last meeting at about 8:30 in the evening. So it was a really, really full day. And so finding time for yourself within that, it was very difficult. And then it's not even like there's places to go out and enjoy, or just places to just let some steam off. Like even if it's a little bit of bowling, or, you know, just some of your mates going to the park, like there wasn't any of that. So, you know, you really just had to, it was just literally a year where I just had to be focused. So it was an experience that I will always remember. Yeah, that's as PG as I can put it.
So what drew you to the European League of Football and the Istanbul Rams? And did you know, or do you know much about the league from their first season? So
before the Rams contacted me, I didn't even know the European League of Football existed. I'm gonna be 100% real with you, because I'm one of those people, right? If I'm in something, that's all I'm focused on. If I'm in America, I'm blocking out all the noise. It's not that I don't care about Europe, it's that it's not on my mind. I'm trying to get to the NFL. So all I'm focusing on is what's happening in the NFL, what's happening in college, what's happening in the JUCO leagues. But I've been so fortunate that I've given an opportunity, because I've learned so much, and I realized it's bigger than I even knew, because it wasn't exposed to me, because I'm not privy to a lot of that stuff. A lot of my friends through American football are NFL guys or college guys. I'm now building my sort of network of friends within the European sort of world. The European, no, thinking about it, you know, I was thinking to myself, yeah, college might be great, but this is an opportunity to, you know, to just be in a full-time environment again. Like playing professional rugby again really, really helped because now I understand what being in a full-time environment consists of. And, you know, having to study, people underestimate how much time that takes because you're spending hours a day, hours in the evening that could be going into film or going into extra training, like these small little things, you know, you're staying up late to study and you should be getting that sleep or even maybe topping up on a bit of nutrition. But because you're focusing on the studying, you ain't got the time for that. So just being in a full-time environment for me is insane. You know, speaking to the head coach, Coach Gunn, you know, him and I spoke literally consistently from like November, and just knowing that you're kind of wanted and to kind of see that and to kind of get a feel for it, got a feel for Istanbul, got a feel for the Rams and understanding, you know, a little bit about their history, you know, a little bit about what they're trying to achieve, and again, not just what they're trying to achieve, what the league's trying to achieve, because the league is trying to do so much. And for me, this European League of Football is as close as you can get to the NFL because they're trying to do so much to replicate it. And people always say, don't copy. Why? Like there's no problem in copying, because if you know there's a benchmark and somebody's doing something great, why not copy? Because they're obviously doing something great for a reason. So yeah, I'm excited for the Rams. I feel like it's going to be great. My mom and I flew to Turkey last week for a couple of days, and it was just insane. Meeting the head coach, insane. Just being in Istanbul, I think it's going to be the best thing I've probably done in like my sporting career.
So the way the ELF is structured, there's some players that have been known since high school, or they've been under the spotlight in Div 1, and then you've got players that are more homegrown talent. They might not have necessarily have seen that level of notoriety. What pressures are there in I guess in learning to be a professional athlete, and do you think it becomes harder when like someone experiences virality or fame to a certain degree at a young age like you have?
I'd say for myself, I can only speak for myself. I was lucky that I experienced it at 15. I was 15 getting, these were the times where Instagram was even that popular. I was getting like well over 500 Facebook requests every single day, messages every single day from kids, grown-ups, like grandparents, old guys, like, you're good, you're great, you suck, you're never gonna amount to anything, you're never gonna be a professional athlete. Having all of that at 15 for me, I thought was actually really, really good, because it's taught me so much about myself and kind of keeping a small circle, because when the circle is too big, you're getting so many different pressures from all over the place. I feel like that's the benefit I've had, because I know a lot of my friends are kind of going through it now at like 22, 24 plus. And so for them at this older stage, it's kind of like teaching an old dog new tricks. It's difficult. So having that experience for me was really, really good. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to, I'm a Christian, and the way I see things is God's put you in a position, you've worked for it, but you've not earned it. God made that for you. So how can I take credit for something that's God's done? So I guess that's what keeps me humble. And I hope it keeps other people humble as well. And I guess, you know, with it, I just think the ELF is just such a great idea, because it forces homegrown talent. You have to have the majority of people from a certain country. You have to have, you know, a limited amount of Americans, and then a bit more Europeans, but still a limited amount from other countries. And I thought that's just so great, because what's the point in bringing all of these amazing Americans from D1 schools, and then Europe's not growing? Like, we want Europe to be on the same level as America, and how the hell are we going to do that if we're just bringing Americans? So yeah, I think the ELF's a great idea, and I feel like, yeah, it's going to be so much fun, honestly.
I think you've totally hit the nail on the head. And I've been banging on about this since we started covering the ELF. They're doing it the right way, because their budget they're spending on bringing in homegrown talent. They're not wasted. They probably will get more press if they brought in, I don't know, a clapped out old NFL quarterback and paid them a fortune. But that's not helping the league long term. So they're actually developing players rather than going for this, and they've got a long-term plan. We were amazed how professionally it was run from the media side of things, and actually watching the games as well. It was really good last season.
I think so too. Like, I went on their YouTube, literally was just watching the way they even, do the highlights for their games. So professional. All of these different camera angles, the jerseys, the way they promote on their social media. Like, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? If you're European, and I guess let me say this, as a person, we all have a ceiling. And some people aren't good enough for the NFL. Some people are. Some people aren't meant to be singers. Some people are. So if your ceiling isn't necessarily the NFL, why isn't Europe an option? Because everybody always says, I want to go D1. Some people aren't made for D1, and it's the harsh reality. But maybe, go to a D2. It's as good, because you're still playing football. You might actually be able to prove that you actually can get to the NFL through hard work, because we've seen so many different guys. And so I just see the ELF as this is Europe's opportunity to just show we've got talent. And even as we've seen, from the end of last year, guys are going to the NFL from the ELF. So why isn't this exciting? And I'm just so excited to see when a British team comes through, because there's so much support. We can fill 80,000 people into Twickenham. We can fill up Wembley. We can fill up Spurs, and we can do that within a matter of days. If we can do that, why can't we get a good British franchise in and get some good homegrown, not talent, support? I think it's going to be, really exciting.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That way. When you mentioned earlier you did a bit of training with Boston Scott from the Eagles, and there's a fair, when it comes to role models, it was Boston Scott obviously can be one if you've trained with him, but are there any other players you try to emulate your game off?
So my game is emulated of Le'Veon Bell. He was the first running back that I really fell in love with, and I got into the sport. When I was younger, I used to watch Adrian Peterson, because he was big in when I was about 15 years old. But getting into the sport in 2017, Le'Veon Bell was the guy who I wanted to be. The patience, and I'm not sure if you guys watch rugby, but watching people, or let me even say rugby, Dan Carter, football, people like Kevin De Bruyne, they play at their own speed. And watching athletes, I don't even care if I watch the sport or not. If I can see an athlete just playing with intelligence, not necessarily taking advantage of their physical prowess, just intelligence. Le'Veon Bell has physical prowess, but he's just so intelligent. And just watching how he sets up blocks and the way he maneuvers through tackles, the way he makes people miss so subtly, for me, it was insane. But then as soon as I got to Mississippi, the coach was like, Tyrese, stop. He literally said, you're not going to be Le'Veon Bell. Derrick Henry, LSU Fournette. That's literally what he told me. But just other than that, Le'Veon Bell, more so now that I am kind of turning into my own running back, I'd say if I was to be any running back and try to emulate my game off him right now, Dalvin Cook. I feel like, him, and I'm a little bit faster, but in regards to vision, that is what I want. The way he just takes advantage of so many different things that people can't see. Him, obviously Saquon, everybody wants to have a bit of juice about them. That's always a running back who I do watch. DeAndre Swift. I watched him at Georgia. Him, a bit of Saquon, and a bit of Dalvin Cook. I feel like if I can model my game after those three, I think I'll be at a different level.
Good company, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of on that note as well, because obviously you've played in so many different sports where running's obviously the essential part of it. And they are going to have different needs and styles of running. Would you say the fact you've trained at track and trained in rugby, it's given you an advantage over others. Like what I was watching all your tape before, and when you come around the corner, you can see the same thing in rugby. You just come around that corner so quick.
I feel like it's a weird one, because I get taught so many bad habits from rugby. In regards to my body position, we run so high. Football is a game of leverage. You got to play low. Track, I'm so used to running with high knees. Football, you kind of want to be kind of low to the ground with your foot, with your feet, and in order to obviously move as efficiently as you want. I'm a sort of player. I guess that's what helps. Let me say that I'm a sort of person. I've never been a sports scientist. I've never really enjoyed learning that side of things, but I've always been an appreciation, or I've always been an appreciation of movement and precision. So everything I try to do, I try to run cleanly. Even if I don't understand the game, if you watch like the way I play, if you watch the way I move, you can see that I move with precision and I move with style. And I feel like that's something that I feel is so important. Durability, one, but it's just it makes things so much easier when I'm turning corners. Not really rugby, but just when I'm turning corners, it's the sharpness. In rugby, it doesn't matter how you turn the corner. All that matters is you get there. And that's what's been so good of the training that I've had and some of the coaches that I've worked with, is we've just been brushing up on those really small things that the naked eye or the average person would necessarily appreciate. But when you're an athlete actually moving, it makes such a difference. Because when I was playing rugby, I used to move so inefficiently that, yeah, I was running fast, but I was getting injured all the time. I was always out with a groin, always out with a hammy, but just working on these small things. Last season, the only injuries I had was a dead leg and a bad ankle and a hit to the knee. So in regards to the muscles, like that, I feel that's so important. But just this, it's just so many different things, like having the patience as a running back to let your block set up. In rugby, you're trying to hit things as soon as possible. You know, using the sideline. In rugby, you use the sideline, you're out, it's a turnover. Just like even catching, watching the ball in and, you know, getting your hands in, kind of looking at the point. Antonio Brown's actually taught me from watching I Am Athlete, you know, catch the ball with your nose. And just those little small things that in rugby are not necessarily important, because the precision doesn't need to be there, because there are so many other fine skills to master, passing, tackling, catching, that it's not necessarily the same way that a football player would need to, because everything is all about inches. So yeah, it's helped me to a degree and it's helped me as an athlete, but I've had to fine tune so many different things that now I'm getting it. End of the season, I got it. I've got it now. I understand what I'm doing.
So, do you know any of the other players in the European League of Football?
Well, Chad, who has basically signed with the Rams, yeah, him and I have known him pretty much my whole American football journey. He's from Kent. My mum lives in Kent. I live in Croydon. But you know, even when I came back to England, my first week back in the gym, I literally bumped into him at the gym, which was quite cool. A couple other players around, but I'm still kind of learning. Obviously, I know some of the players and whatnot, but yeah, just still trying to kind of get my feet in and just kind of network a little bit.
So you mentioned before about it'd be nice to see a London team in ELF. Like what other cities besides London, I guess, would you like to see have a team in ELF within Europe? And if there was a London team, I guess, would that be something you'd be interested in somewhere that you'd be interested in going?
Well, to answer the first question, I think if we're talking popular cities, Paris has to have a team, because as a player, like, who doesn't want to go to Paris? Like, let's be real. Even as a person who's not a player, who wouldn't want to go to Paris? That's just a fun, quick trip, and just being kind of immersed in the culture when playing would just be so fun. Also, if we're talking around, I feel like it would be quite cool to just see like a little random country, like a Finland. If Finland had a team, like I think that's what's good at the ELF is, you know, I wouldn't consider going to Poland if I wasn't playing in the league, but having the opportunity to go to somewhere like Poland and Austria is just, I feel like this league is more than just football. A lot of things is about experience, and you can't teach experience. So going to like random countries, you know, there, I feel Istanbul, other than getting your teeth done and your hair done, are you really gonna go to Turkey? You know what I'm saying? So that I feel like that's pretty cool. You're testing my knowledge of Europe now. God damn. Even somewhere like Hungary, Russia, obviously not now. But
No, no,
No, not right now.
Maybe not now.
maybe not now. But hey, if World War III doesn't kick off in a couple of years, it would be cool to see a Russian team. I feel like just for the experience. London, I feel like it'll be really good to see a team in London. You know, just with the support. London's the capital city. You know, having a team in Bristol, having a team in Leicester, it wouldn't make sense because the population isn't there. London's got what, 6 million people, so there's enough people to kind of capture, and people will travel to London to watch a game. I feel like if we had a professional team and a stadium for 10,000 people, I think we could fill it quite easily. If Germany, you know, we're playing our first game in Cologne, and there's rumors of 10,000 people filling up the stadium, I don't see why London can do that, because that's just one city in Germany, which isn't even the biggest. So yeah, it'll be really cool to see a London team, and if there is one, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Cologne, have you heard of Madre London?
Yeah, when I was doing my research, guy's a dog. The guy's a dog. That guy, he's a good guy. He's good. He's really, really, really good. And I just feel like seeing him as a running back getting the MVP, it kind of gives me that motivation as to, you know, why can't I? Because I feel like in a lot of leagues, we're kind of stuck in that quarterback bias. Yeah, quarterback's the most important person on the team, but there are some players who do things that are so unbelievable that don't get the recognition they deserve. And I feel like running back is a position that's underappreciated, very much so within the last couple of years. So to see a running back doing what he's doing and being rewarded for it, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, really humble guy as well, because we spoke to him last year. Really nice guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he looks it.
Yeah. And you mentioned, you know, quarterback favorable leagues such as the NFL. Curious question: who is your NFL team? Have you got one?
I'm a Le'Veon Bell fan. I'm a Steelers fan.
Oh no. Okay.
Who do you guys support?
I'm a Ravens fan.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to be fair, obviously you guys are our rivals, but I love Lamar. I love watching Lamar play. So I don't root for the Ravens. I just hope Lamar can score 500 points a game and lose. That's
I'm Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, man.
I feel sorry for you, man. I feel sorry for you, man.
Oh, bro. I mean, I'm fine with it. You can feel bad for us. We got Jalen. I love Jalen Hurts, man. Hers.
He is so cool, isn't he? That guy is just
so cool.
Natural building swag.
I'm talking about disrespected quarterbacks. I'm a Raiders fan.
I can't even disrespect you guys. You guys are moving. I'm hearing talks of a couple players being traded to the Raiders. So yeah, I feel like it could be a decent season. You just need consistency. That's all it is.
We'll see. I'm probably the most pessimistic Raiders fan in the world.
Are you? I can't blame you. I can't
I've
blame
been
you.
a Raiders fan for a long time. I've seen a lot of disappointment.
Can imagine. How did you feel about the Antonio Brown stuff when he was at the Raiders?
And it was the 5 minutes he was there. It was always going to happen. It was like the only positive thing I took out of it is we didn't waste that much. It wasn't like we gave up 3 first-round picks, gone for like a 4th and a 5th pick or something. And it was always if it works, it works. It's probably not going to. But what we're going to lose. And from day one, when you had like burnt feet, you're like, this is not going to go well. This is really not going to go well. The problem is with Antonio Brown, his work ethic and what he does on the field has never been the problem. It's always been his off-field antics and stuff. So I was like, he might do all right for the Raiders, but then it was like, nah, just get rid of him. The sooner he goes, the
It's a
better.
hard one, isn't it? Like AB, I feel like he's misunderstood. And I feel like people are so quick to judge, not to condemn his actions, but I just feel like it's just a difficult one. It's a very difficult situation for anybody as a coach, teammates. It's just hard to be around.
Yeah.
I think it's when you're that high profile and you've probably got people around you who are almost facilitating the behavior. You haven't got a almost, this sounds a bit childish, but a grown up in the room to say, mate, don't be a dick. You know?
No, you're right. You're right. It's just, but the thing is, it's kind of like when you've come from that position, you're in a very, very high position. People around you aren't necessarily there for the right reasons a lot of the time if they haven't been there from the beginning. So as you said, facilitating us, I guess that's the kind of problem with it is, are they telling them what's right? Are they telling them what's wrong? And if they do tell them what's wrong, they're probably kicked out of the entourage.
Yeah, exactly. They're being paid to say, yeah, Antonio, that's a great idea.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Joe's the resident
Oh
Patriot.
yeah, I'm basic. I'm a Patriots fan. Yeah.
There's nothing better, actually. When did you start being a Patriots fan?
When they started winning Super Bowls.
Whoa.
Basic.
No. About 12 years ago when they were at their peak, which, doesn't make me look good, but it was purely because they had the name England in their name. That was it.
Like
that was the only reason. So I've got a kind of good excuse.
We'll let him on.
It's a decent excuse, but we'll see. You've kind of gone 2 years without Brady. We'll see if you're there next season.
I could be like a proper Nine Pats fan. I don't feel as if I am, so I kind of, I don't brag too much.
I tolerate you, Joe.
There we go. See, if the Raiders fan is saying that, I'm all right.
Okay, that's good.
So, talking of Super Bowls, I know it's super early, but who have you got tips for at least to make the next Super Bowl?
Say it's hard to repeat. I don't see why the Rams couldn't do it. I feel like the Rams, if they bring back everybody, I don't see why they can't, because you don't need to be good every game of the season. You just need to put a good run up when the playoffs come. So I feel like the Rams have a great shot. I feel like there's gonna be. I don't feel like there's gonna be another shock again. I don't feel like we're gonna see a Bengals this season again, just come out of nowhere. I feel like it's time for the Bills. I feel like seeing Josh Allen in the playoffs, for me, insane. People talked about he's got bad accuracy. Look at that guy. That guy put the team on his back, running the football, throwing the football, and he's willing to risk it all to win for his team. If he can stay healthy and Diggs can stay healthy next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in another receiver through the draft, I feel like the Bills are probably going to be in the Super Bowl as well. Not sure who will win, but I feel like it'd be the Rams versus the Bills.
Yeah, Tyrese, I was going to, for me, I think if that overtime coin flip went the Bills' way, I think the Bills win the Super Bowl.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think that's just how close they were this year, and it was just down to that.
Sad, because it's like, imagine like working your whole life for a flip of the coin. It's as silly as that, but like it's so true, because like they didn't play bad. They literally just had a bad defense for literally 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And you couldn't stop Mahomes. And I just felt I felt really bad for the Bills, because I always liked seeing the underdog win, and I just feel like I feel it was the Bills' year, but I feel like if they can bring everyone back,
they got time.
They got time. They're young. They're really young. So there's no problem in it. It's just the Rams. Rams is now or never.
Who do you think you guys go for in quarterback wise? You pick up in the draft, or you get like Jimmy G or something like that?
Well, I'm hearing the GM is obviously leaving after the draft. He's basically said Mason Rudolph, he's excited to see him play. So
probably the only one.
Hey, I'm gonna be real. Hey, no lies were told. No lies were told. I don't know. I feel like it's a hard one, because in regards to the quarterback situation out of the draft, next year will be strong. Next year will be really strong because what you've got Bryce Young, you've got Spencer Rattler, you've got Caleb, you've got all of these guys coming through. This year, you've got good players, but it's just the names aren't anywhere as big.
Yeah.
So will the Steelers bet on a quarterback this year from the draft? I don't think so. But I'm hearing, obviously, you know, we've got Brian Flores coming. I wouldn't be surprised if he made a move for Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't be surprised if he made a move for Cam Newton. So I could see a couple of things happening. Jimmy G, I feel like he will stay at the 49ers. They're probably gonna give what's his name? I can see his face. Trey Lance. They'll probably give Trey Lance you know, another year to develop, and then it's his time. So I feel like we'll probably get somebody like a Deshaun Watson. I can see that happening.
You guys would be dangerous with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I would not want to play against them twice a year.
Imagine, because if you think about us, yeah, Big Ben was kind of he has got to the end of his career. We've got quality receivers. Like, who wouldn't want a receiving core of what? Juju, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, all these other guys.
Who's your other running back as well?
We've got Benny Najee Harris.
Yeah,
like
player.
We've got a good team. All we need this season is a good quarterback, because as we've seen, Bengals, Tampa Bay, all it takes is a quarterback that knows how to play the game in the best situations, and you have a very good shot of not even just having a good season and saying, yeah, let's hold our hands up and say, boom, well done, guys. You can actually get to the Super Bowl if you actually have a quarterback who knows what he's doing. So if we pick up someone like Deshaun Watson, fear the Steelers.
Scary.
Scary.
Okay, and on to our final questions for the interview. These are just a bit silly. We're asking to everyone. Stuck on a desert island for 1 year, and you get to bring 5 of the following things.
Okay.
First round, you get to bring 1 meal with you. You have an unlimited supply of it.
1 meal, curry goat and rice. I'm
Nice.
Jamaican. I need my Jamaican food. So curry goat and rice fills me up. It's not unhealthy. I wouldn't get fat. If I had an unlimited supply, I would love.
Solid choice.
Mm.
You get to bring 1 album with you, musical album.
Take Care, Drake.
Yes.
And listen to that baby all day, every single day. I could start from the bottom and I could start all the way to the top and just keep rolling that. I ain't gotta go back to play a song again. Nah, the next song is good.
Mate, and you got me, if you want to get hyped, you got Crew Love, you want to have a little cry, you got Marvin's Room. Happy days.
Oh yeah, and there'll be, I'm not sure if there'll be any girls there, so I'm not sure if I need the breakup song. But
that leads into the next question. You get to bring 1 celebrity with you. They can be dead, but they would be alive at the time.
Female or guy?
It's up to you.
Choice.
Anything you want.
Bear Grylls.
Oh, that's a good answer.
That's smart.
That's
a good answer.
I don't know how to survive on an island. I might figure it out. Why would I need to figure it out if I have Bear Grylls?
That's the first logical one we've had.
Yeah.
Who have you had before?
Tom Brady. That's the most boring answer. Why would you take Tom Brady,
Brady, Peyton
Manning with you?
Jessica Alba. There's been like
I can understand that one.
Yeah.
I can understand that one as well. If I was stuck on an island with her all day every year, I wouldn't leave the island. I'm there for life.
You get to watch 1 sports team for this year. Ooh, that's the man I'm in confusion.
It hurts because I'm a Steelers fan. I'm an Arsenal fan.
You were gonna say Arsenal.
It hurts. It'd have to be Arsenal. Like, I grew up loving football. I grew up as an Arsenal fan. When I was in America, it sucked because, say on Sunday when I was in South Carolina, the games on a Sunday would be like 7:30 in the morning. When I was in Mississippi, they were an hour behind. So I'm getting up at 6:30 in the morning watching Arsenal. Like, that's my baby. Like, oh, Arsenal FC. Yeah.
If it was next year, do you reckon you'd be watching Champions League football?
Hey, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm just saying,
I
West Ham are going to sneak in. You watch. No, I'm joking. We're not. We're really not.
I'm not going to sneak in. We've got what? 3 games in hand on you guys.
Yeah, and you're
if we win
level
our
points.
next game, we'll be obviously 2 points ahead.
Yeah.
Win our next thing, boom. The match are there. I'm not going to try and do it right now, but I don't feel like West Ham pros enough for your squad. That's not good enough.
No, it's not. Too many injuries, too many tight players. Oh, it's Arsenal's. It's Arsenal's, I think.
It's Arsenal's to lose.
Yeah, it really is.
But then I just hate the sort of, you got a game in hand. We got games in hand, so that means we're going to win. Nah, because when we had games, no, when United had games in hand, they didn't, and Tottenham had it, they didn't. Nah. So games in hand mean nothing. You still got to win. The points are on the table.
Points on the board.
So the points are on the board, and yeah, we're gonna see. I feel like it'll be a really exciting end to the season. But all I can say, make sure we don't get top 4, because if Arsenal are back in the top 4, it's going to be scary for everybody, because the players that we're going to be able to bring in, I'm hearing João Felix, I'm hearing Rafinha, I'm hearing all of these players that could potentially be coming in.
They would be good, yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal. That's all I'm going to say, because when you came to the Emirates, you got a little bit of a...
Oh, no, it weren't a red card. I could go into this for hours, but...
Hey, red card or not, slapped you all over the park, handle business.
Yeah, come to the London Stadium, we'll see this time.
I'm going to ask you a rugby question now. Saturday.
Sure. Yep.
Be careful how you answer this, because I am Welsh.
Okay.
Who's going to win Wales-England?
Wales-England. I briefly, just before I came on here, I had a quick glance at one of my group chats. I'm hearing Slade and Tuilagi in the middle.
Oh, wait,
Slade and Tuilagi in the middle. I'm not sure if you boys can handle it. I feel like it'll be a good game. I'm rooting for some of my guys. Shout out Lewis Rees-Zammit. I want to see what he can do on the field, because
he's been dropped.
He's been
dropped from the squad.
From the squad?
He had a bad game against Scotland. Basically, I think his tackling and his play under the high ball's been a bit suspect. So I think it's kind of like teaching him a lesson kind of thing, dropping him from the squad. So it's been a bit of a shocker. It was announced, like it leaked to the press yesterday that he was being released back to his team. So,
damn.
Well, all I know is that he's going to come back firing.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to come back firing. I feel like as players, nobody likes to be dropped because we all have egos. But I feel like sometimes these sorts of things are blessings in disguise. So when he comes back, fear Lewis Rees-Zammit. That's all I'm going to say. But England versus Wales, it's going to have to be England. I gotta,
come on, man.
I got to represent the home team, man. I got to represent.
Back to the desert island. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Apart from water, you get to bring one drink with you.
Mango.
Ooh.
You can drink mango. Actually, I'm lying. There's this nice little drink. Who does it? Is it Sunrise? The pineapple and coconut. Pineapple and coconut drink.
Best combination.
I can have that all day, every single day, from a kid to now. Still not sick of it. So if I had a whole year on an island with water, I'm living. That's a luxury. I'm gonna say that's luxury.
I like that. I'm a big fan of coconut myself.
Coconut, beautiful. I've had coconut like freshly cut, as in like fresh coconut. Put your straw right in and just drink, and then
I haven't. No.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. You need to go to the Caribbean, man. Like just getting that fresh coconut, just drinking, and then eating the bits inside. Hey, it needs to be done.
Got me mouth watering thinking about it.
Same here.
But yeah, I mean, that's it for the questions. Tyrese, thank you so much for coming on. We've had a fantastic time. Is there any socials you want to shout out? Any guys, anyone you want to talk about? You go for it.
I got to shout out. The first thing is my YouTube. You see KSI? No. He's not even in my market. Destroying. I'm coming for that. My YouTube, my full name, Tyrese Johnson Fisher. I've got a Sony ZV-1. Have I even got it? I've got it right here. I've got my little Sony ZV-1, my little vlogging camera. We're going on little vlogs. I've got a vlog coming out this weekend on Sunday. Work really hard on that Premiere Pro. Do everything myself. Also, Instagram, TyreseJF9, Twitter, TyreseJF9, Snapchat, TyreseJF9, all the nines with the JS. Thank you. Yeah, that's me.
God, Joe, I want to talk to you about Premiere Pro.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get it to do our videos as well.
Honestly,
yeah,
you didn't hear it from me, but if you get a uTorrent, you can get Premiere Pro for free. So you didn't hear it from me.
I mean, definitely not gonna do that. But
yeah, no. I just had to make sure. I'm telling you, I spent a whole week.
It's out there.
Do not do it.
No, I won't. I promise.
But if there's anything that I will say, if you are willing to like get Premiere Pro, like be willing to just have your brain hurting. Like I'm telling you, I watched hours and hours and hours of Premiere Pro. I even tried to just make a little intro video. That took me a whole week. Because it was so complicated. Now, I was on Premiere Pro yesterday, created a quick video. Something that would take me like 5 hours, I did in 30 minutes. But that's just because it's just the practice. Even if you just get loads of videos, practice.
When we first jumped to the one that went on now, that like I spent like a good week, I think, solid, just sat on my computer, just like just playing with it, figuring about, messing with clips, like it, watching tutorials and stuff. Like it is quite complicated, but once it clicks, I think it does click.
Yeah, and I agree with you because like even iMovie is hard. Like when you first use iMovie, I was trying to do something on Premiere Pro, wouldn't let me, so I jumped into iMovie like 2 days ago. Didn't even have to use it. Like it was, even that's difficult, but I promise you, when you get Premiere Pro, the level of what you want to do can just increase. Like the amount of the sort of transitions, the text that you have available to you. People on YouTube are always giving away like free templates, so you can literally, like, I know myself, I can edit. If I see a video, a hype video, I can do that because I'll get YouTube tutorials on how to make that. And like when you use iMovie, you just haven't got the same like things to your disposal. So Premiere Pro all day.
And we will make sure to share all your socials and your vlog on our socials. Make sure you check them out. Of course, you can find our YouTube on That American Football Show and our website, thatamericanfootballshow.com. Joe, how can they find our socials?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, TAFS_UK, Facebook, That American Football Show. You'll be able to find us.
Let us know how you like this interview. Let us know who you want us to get on next. Just find us on any of those aforementioned socials and just let us know. But again, Tyrese, thank you so much for coming on. We've all had a great time there, and good luck for the upcoming season. I'm sure we'll all be watching you with keen interest.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Some good fun, guys. Yeah, let's go.
But everyone, thank you for listening. Make sure you head over and check out our friends at EP Sports for any of your NFL